Welcome to the Your Limitless Leadership Podcast with Jenny and Brent Widman. Here, we believe leadership isn't just about titles. It's about how you show up in every aspect of life. Whether you're leading a business, building a legacy as an entrepreneur, guiding your family, or striving to lead yourself first, this podcast is for you. Join us as we dive into real conversations about growth, decision-making, and the courage it takes to lead with purpose. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and equipped to become the limitless leader you are meant to be. This is your Limitless Leadership Podcast. Let's lead without limits.
Hello, welcome to your Limitless Coach Podcast. I'm super excited for our guest today, Mr. Brent Widman. He is my favorite person in the entire world, but I am biased since he's my husband. But I'm excited to hear your story, Brent. And before we get into it, I am going to read your introduction for everyone to hear. But as an elite and executive sales and leadership coach, Brent has over 17 years of proven sales experience, over 10,000 plus hours of coaching. He's worked with hundreds of companies from across industries, ranging from small businesses all the way up to Fortune 500 executives. He grew up in a small town, 400 people or less, where he developed his work ethic, integrity, and a caring nature. After graduating high school, he actually joined the military. He built strong mental fortitude, leadership, and perseverance. He earned a degree from Minnesota State University in Mass Comm with an emphasis in public relations and speech communications minor. He then went on to earn his MBA from Augsburg University. Daily, Brent applies all of the skills he spent decades honing to his professional career, where he's found passion as a sales director, district manager, and division director. He shared his passion and story with countless executives as he's helped them achieve their own goals and find the levels of success they have spent their careers pursuing. He resides in Minnesota, Plymouth, with his beautiful wife, Jenny, and 3 children, Jack, Elle, and Hud. He loves spending time with his family, whether it's traveling, playing sports, helping with schoolwork, math to be exact, or just enjoying each other's company. As a coach, he has a relentless commitment to empower his clients to embrace the difficult, improve their processes, and blaze their own path. Learning early on to commit to the difficult, his principles have guided him through his career.
Love it. Good job. Good job. That was perfect. I like it.
Exactly. But Brent, thank you for being here and just spending time with us. I guess, my first question I'd love to hear from you is just how you got where you are today. And I know that can be interpreted lots of different ways, but Cliff Note style, I'd love to hear just the big moments of your life that made you Brent Widman.
That's a little to a big question, I guess, from where you started. I'll go way back and then I'll fast forward, but goodness, where do I even start here? I'll go to just growing up, going back to the town of 400 people. My first job, I was 8 years old. And I think this is where I really realized that the harder you work, that it's not as hard as you make it. Like, I was 8 years old delivering papers at 5:45 every morning. And maybe that started the discipline that I feel like I've developed over time, is where that came from, the first and foremost, because I had to do it 6 days a week. It wasn't something that you just couldn't do. People were depending on you. So I suppose there's the accountability aspect around it. Now, you don't think about that when you're 8, 9, 10 years old, but I did it until I was 18. And the only reason I stopped, realistically, the only reason I stopped is because I felt kind of embarrassed to be delivering papers at 18 years old. It was kind of weird. So I stopped before I was a senior.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's really the only reason. It felt awkward at times being up delivering papers. And then from there, just growing up, I hovered through life a lot in my early years, graduating high school. All I ever saw my parents do, which is good, they went to work at 8, came home at noon to eat lunch, and went back to work at 1 till 5. Like that was their schedule every day. Mom made dinner, dad sat and watched TV, and just kind of that's what the Widmans did every single night, unless they were hanging out with friends or what have you. And I thought that's what life was. So when I graduated high school, I didn't really do much. I went to a small community college in Worthington. GPA was 1.1, never really went to class because I had the freedom, wouldn't get up till noon, was staying up, drinking a lot, young, what have you. And I was making about $200 a week. And that's when I decided to go to the military. I went to the Guards. And that was just a random conversation I had with a friend once. And he basically said, "Have you ever thought about being in the Guards?" And I said, "Sure," trying to get him to stop talking about it for the most part. But I had a recruiter knocking on my doorstep 2 days later that sat down and talked to me about what it means to go to the military. And my dad had been in the military, my grandpa. Since after I went, my brother went into the military to pay his. So they've all been in the Army, put it that way. That's what I did. And I didn't know that till I went. So that wasn't like a thing or why I did it. There was no rhyme or reason around it. I just really wanted to get back in shape after high school. And I thought that's how to get back in shape. That would hold me to it. But that also taught me that you can do things when you're tired. You can do things when it's hard. You can do things, you can go on 20-mile ruck walks in your boots, and you can run a 2-mile in 12 minutes, and you can get up at 3:30 in the morning because they tell you to, and you can be sitting there falling asleep and they tell you to get out of your bed. It creates this mentality of you've done it before, you can do it again. And maybe I'll get into that later, but I feel like that's where a lot of people fall short, is they don't know that hasn't been programmed in them. And that's really been just programmed in me, that it's not that hard. You just do it. And I know that at part of times people try to understand how I'm wired that way. And I think that's where it really started, is in the military, or even delivering papers, is why I tell those two stories, because those were the biggest ones that impacted me. And then going to college, when I got back, my dad basically said, "You need to get your act together." So if we want straight transparency here, I went to cop school for a year and a half, and I got DUI before I graduated. And you have to sign a waiver before, well, not a waiver, but an agreement, if you will, that if anything like that happens, you're done. You can't be a cop. Yeah, I would have had to wait 2 or 3 years. And so that happened. So I had to, I'm 22 at the time, 21, trying to figure out, what do I do with my life now? And that's where I moved to Mankato. And again, for that first year, I just hovered because I didn't know what I wanted. And it wasn't until I was probably 22 years old that I found writing. And that's where mass communications came into play. Like, I don't mind quick math, but like calculus and trigonometry and all that just doesn't. Spreadsheets aren't my thing. Let's call it what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
But writing, I absolutely loved. I don't know. I really enjoy it. And that's where mass comm, and then even speech. I realize speaking in front of people, if you're prepared, it's pretty simple if you know what you're talking about. There's really not, I know that's different for other people. And I didn't know then that now that's what that would evolve into over time. I just wanted to do it because I needed a minor. And that was the quickest minor I could do, was speech. So that's why I did it, is all it was. And then I moved up to Plymouth, Minnesota after college, and I started my sales career at Lifetime Fitness. Now, in college, I bartended, and that's another place I realized that if I work harder and serve faster, I will make more money. So
Mm.
it's like the rat getting the cheese, right? Like it created that neural thing in me. And when I went to Lifetime Fitness, same thing. I realized that if I made more phone calls, I'm going to make more money because it's just simply a numbers game. It's not an emotional thing. You just call people. And yeah, there's times that it gets you off track, but that really taught me that. So, of course, here's where it gets dicey again. Brent Widman was good at sales because he worked hard. So, of course, he thought he should be in charge because that was the ego. So I started chasing the title.
Mm.
And I went to the YMCA in Elk River, Minnesota, because the guy that hired me was a past Lifetime guy and hired me as a sales director. And I was not a good leader at all. Like I shouldn't have been leading. And I had 2 people on my team, but I was running I was kind of second in command, if you will, because they'd never had a sales force. They just had customer service. And I remember Lee, who was my executive director at the time over all the Ys, sat me down and said, Brent, sometimes the best leaders or the best salespeople don't always make the best leaders. And I quit 2 weeks later. And I remember him calling me, like, do you have anything lined up? I'm like, no, I didn't tell him he made me, because it wasn't him looking back on it. It was an ego thing. And then I went to Sprint as a district manager because it sounded cool to run 7 stores, but it was retail. So it was taking me away from the family and what have you. I had a son, or do have a son. At the time, he was young. And then I enjoyed that, but I knew there wasn't a long-term path there, put it that way. And again, straight transparency, the ego got the best of me. I didn't believe what the owner was telling us about numbers. So I called Sprint Corporate, the person that worked there, and asked, and he found out and he fired me. Really is what it came down to. Yeah. Yep. Because I thought there was something off. It just felt like it was off. And then I went to Robert Half International because I always wanted to. I interviewed, here's another story. I interviewed about 75 people. I went through LinkedIn and found jobs that I wanted to do or thought about would be cool.
Mm.
And I reached out and called these people. I just called them. I called speakers. I called recruiters. I called
Before Robert Half?
I called software people. I called all these people and just talked to them. And recruiting sounded really cool to me and then I called a recruiter there. His name's Brian. And it's kind of like, once you call them, they not only recruit for businesses, but they recruit for internal as well because they have a lot of turnover. He had me, really is what it was. And that's how I ended up at Robert Half. But when I was at Robert Half, I saw a job description for public speaking, training, coaching, development, which landed me at a company called Southwestern. And I was there for about 12 years as well. And that's kind of where that's just where I landed. And I put my all into it because I knew I had to commit to something, because every time there was a pattern there, everything was about a year and a half, 2 years. Every time it got hard, I got out.
Mm.
Felt like somebody was going to see that. I don't know. It was something in me, like somebody was going to see that I'm not the guy they hired or who they thought they were hiring or whatever it was, because it was ingrained in me from Lee that I was not a good leader. And I held on to that, and that ate at me. And I didn't know how to become a good leader until I came to Southwestern, and my leader hired me. And she impacted me on the aspect of changing my mentality.
How
She,
so?
she broke me down and built me back up.
Mm.
She let me know it's okay. She let me know that just because one person told you something doesn't mean that changes everything that you are. I thought leadership was a given. Like, some people were just wired to be really good at what they do and how they do it. And like, I remember going to one of our first awards ceremonies, and I saw this lady that had been there for a while, getting all this cash and all this money and winning trips and all this stuff. And in my mind, I'm sitting way back in the back because that's where they put the newbies. And I was thinking, that'll never be me.
Oh.
That's not me. I'm not good enough to do that. Am I where I should be? Am I just jumping jobs again? Is this what I should do? And that's where Dew made it a point to let me know I'm in the right spot and continued to pour into me to let me know I'm in the right spot. So that's kind of the evolution. And now starting the own business and the uncertainty that comes with that. And part of it is showing people that you can do something really, really well when you put your all into it. And then you can do your thing, man. Like you can do your own thing. And that's pretty cool to me. Like that's not normal. Normal people, I don't feel like normal people do that. And I never want to be labeled normal. And I think that's part of the driver too. So that's kind of the evolution of Brent, I guess. Work-wise, family. I have a beautiful wife. I feel like I won the lottery. We talked about that one night because I've been through a divorce and it's sucked because you feel like it sucked because my parents never got divorced. That's really the only reason. All it is a breakup that sounds bad. And then kids. Kids are my driver, really. It doesn't matter if Jack's 18 and kind of being an 18-year-old at times, like we all were, or Elle is the shining light of my life because she's a girl and teaches me how to treat women that I didn't know before I had a girl. And then you have HUD, who has just grown into his own little personality and becoming the funniest little man and getting away from the anger issues that 2 and 3-year-olds have, and now becoming a fun little boy, basically. So yeah, that's the evolution of Brent, I guess.
I want to go back to your normal comment because Brent, you're not normal. No one in this right world would call you normal. I mean, you're going back till you're 8 years old saying that every single day from 8 to 17, 18 years old for a decade of your life, you woke up at 5:45 a.m. and delivered paper, right? Like that's not normal for any 8-year-old or 10-year-old or 14-year-old. And then fast forward going into the military just to get in shape and what that would have done for you. Then fast forward, calling 75 people up randomly off LinkedIn just to ask them about their job and being curious. Like I'm just interested, you know, I see that's how it sets you apart, but I'm interested into why. Like what about that you kind of got excited there when you said I never want to be labeled as normal. Like where does that come from?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. If you would ask me 5, 6, 7 years ago, it's because I was broke for a while, but I wasn't broke till I was 30, 31. And I haven't been broke, I guess, for a long time. I don't know where it comes from. And it's a blessing and a curse at times. It really is, because it's a blessing as in I know that whatever I do and wherever I go and whatever we want to accomplish, we will achieve. We just will. Like I am a avid and true believer that when you want to do something, it doesn't matter where you start, what isn't perfect, what happens, whatever it is, I will run through that wall and I will figure it out later. And it'll all work itself out eventually because I will make it so. Now, the curse on that side is the same thing. It's really hard for me at 6 in the morning not to do something, or 8 at night not to do something, or just to lay on the couch, or just to go to a movie, or just to go out to dinner, or just to, my mind is constantly like more, and I cannot shut it off. I mean, it is all, I don't know how to explain it. It is all the time. All the time. But I embrace it because I know that's just the way it is. I used to fight it like, and now it's like, It's who you are, man.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out. And I just think it's so ingrained in me now. It's never going to go away. I'll never be the dude that doesn't run or doesn't work out or doesn't work hard or doesn't. And I don't care because I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to me. And I think it inspires people at times. I really do.
No, I know it does. And it's that aspect, just like your introduction said, like you love to empower clients to embrace the difficult because you're constantly embracing the difficult, you know? Um, it's amazing. What's one thing this past year that was difficult for you that you did because you know it's going to impact people's future self?
Whew, that's tough. One thing I did. Um, see, this to me is just normal. It's funny. So I saw his name's Aaron. He runs a mortgage company. I saw a post by him on Facebook last year.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, it was 2 years ago because I did it this year. And it said he worked out every day. And I thought to myself, why can't I do that? So I literally last year, and we're already 16 days into this year, have worked out every day for the last 381 days straight. Just because I feel like when people tell me I don't have time or I can't do it or I have kids or my work or whatever, I have all of those things as well. And if I can do it, why can't you? There was times I had to get up at 1:30 or 2:30 in the morning because I had a flight, or we went to Portugal, or I was in Jersey that I had to fly back, or whatever it was. There's times the other day when I told a coaching client, Ryan, the other day, I ran outside when it was 9 or 10 below. He's like, you are a moron. But it inspires him to go out and go, why can't I? Like, why can't you? You just put clothes on and you go out and do it. Time's going to tick whether we'd like it or not. That's a controllable we can't do. And I know that when I run or work or what have you, I know when I start at 7:59 in the morning for work and end at 5, I know that day is going to go I might as well pack as much stuff into that day as humanly possible. And I think that inspires other people that I wish people could sit beside us and see, and I picture that at times. If I have a coaching client and they sat beside me, would they go, that's my coach? Or would they go, that's my guy? And I picture that every time I sit down to my desk because I want them to know I can't talk about it if I don't do it. People see right through your crap, especially when you're dealing with elite level leaders and top performers and people that live in that world. They live in that world for a reason. So I don't know, maybe that long-winded answer to your question.
That was amazing. And you are just a true practitioner. I mean, that just hit me, of just, you are a true practitioner. You want people to know that you are not telling them to do
Yeah.
anything that you haven't done yourself, and um, not be a fraud, right? I mean,
Yeah. Good way to put it.
um, yeah, I love that. But I know you, and I know that that was one thing that you did last year that was really difficult. And um, there were days that you had to wake up at 2:30 in the morning and go run 4 miles because you don't think anything under 4 miles is a workout, right? So it's just like it's in you. And if you say you're going to do it, you are just the Mr. Integrity, and I just love that. So you just stopped working at a company that you've been at for 12 years, and
Yeah.
you're starting your own company. And I guess, one question I would have there is, what is your biggest goal going into 2025 this year? Like, what, you kind of closed a chapter in your life, and you're starting a fresh one. Oh, what do you inspire this year to look like?
I would say to do all the things that I've wanted to do. I came to that company 12 years ago because I had, to use a phrase, a Super Bowl or a championship or whatever you want to call it that lives in me. And that is speaking in front of thousands of people. That is building a multi-millions dollar business. And the reason that is because I was given an opportunity, and I want to give that same opportunity back to other people. So it's not about, I'm obviously money's a driver and what have you, but to watch people prosper and watch the light bulb goes on and watch a wave of, I'll just call them Brent Widmans that are down on their luck and broke and single dad and struggling through life. And I don't want to say drinking too much because but like on a Thursday night, you're having beers and you're waking up feeling bleh the next day. And I want to show people that when you stop all those things, that you can create something. And I know that's not really answering your question specifically on a goal, but the vision for me is to create people working with us, not for us, but alongside us. And being able to go out and speak in front of people, not to be the egotistical look at me, but it's so people remember the way they felt when they walk out of there. It's building the relationships with people, like a call I had today, just because you want to build relationships and find friends and people you can surround your life with that will then, and it inspires your family and your kids and all these different things. So I know we're supposed to have specific goals and all this, but my goal this year is to literally go out and build this thing and talk to as many people, make as many phone calls, send as many emails, have as many lunches and coffees, and get in front of as many people as humanly possible to build it for the years to come. Really is all it is. And I think that goes back to the work ethic is all it is. To
Well, I
drive.
love how you say, like, my job is just to make friends and to go meet friends. And, uh, in doing so, it's, people want to help others,
They
people
do.
want to be part of it. And, it's inspiring for sure.
I think we sell people short at times, how much they really want to help other people.
Hmm.
Like if somebody asks me for help, I'm helping them. So why would I think somebody else wouldn't do that for me?
Yeah.
But that's our mental block at times, I think, is what it is. So
I have a question about ego because you've said it multiple times in this conversation. Because the old Brent was chasing the ego of the title, it sounded like. And then just then you were saying, like, it's not the egotistical reason of owning business and money and all the type of things. What changed? What's the old Brent sought after ego? Now you're extremely humble. What happened?
I think I go back to the story with Lee when he told me that I realized that I had a number of conversations with people that told me over time, like being let go from jobs, and sometimes you got to think through what you say and how you say it, and you can't just let things out. And I was the king of, well, this is what I think, this is what's on my mind. I didn't listen to people. I told them what I thought. And looking back on it, when Dew recruited me, she taught me that. She taught me to shut up. And not in a bad way, in a really good way. And the reason you're not very good at what you do, you think you're good at what you do, is because you don't listen to people. You just tell them what you think and the way it is.
Mm.
And that's why I make it such a point now, and maybe for too much. I don't know if it's like, I used to wonder in the past if it costs me sales because I'm not a hard closer, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, maybe it's made me a lot too
Mm.
because of who I am. I'll never know. But I would rather be a humble, caring, gracious, get the hell out of my way leader instead of do this because I told you to do it or look at me type of person because I just don't care. I feel like when your actions, I don't need to tell people what I do. My actions and what I do will speak for themselves. And I didn't used to think that way. I've changed that. I used to think I had to tell people how good I was to get attention. And I've realized that you don't have to. You just don't at
Yeah.
all.
I'd love to hear, because that's a question we get a lot, just how do you develop yourself? Like what are the things? What are the actions that you just spoke of that keep helping you improve as a professional, as a husband, as a dad? Um, what do you take, you know,
I'll go in
under?
different aspects of my life. Working out, I believe your body is the same, it goes into your mind. If you can persevere through things, if I can do one more rep, I can do one more phone call. If I can run one more mile or take one more step when it's cold, talking to somebody you're nervous to talk to doesn't matter because they don't care. So I think those kind of go hand in hand. So working out for me is where it really started, is to put your all into that because you have a duration of time for, let's call it 30 minutes to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You can do anything for an hour, anything, if you just put your mind to it. And then you look at developing your mind, reading. I listen to and read on the low side 15 to 20 books a year. On the high side, you may not know this, 35 to 40. Like every time I drive somewhere, every time I go somewhere, whether it's like last night going to Chipotle because you ordered it from the wrong spot, I thought I now have 35 minutes to listen to a book.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to help me. Coaching, I have a coach. And then there's other aspects too, like I talked about divorce. I've been divorced twice. And I know I can say, well, it's them and they did this, but there's a common denominator in that. What did I do wrong? And if I took the same thing into our marriage that I did with them, we're not going to last very long either because I was a jerk at times. And I look at our marriage and where we're at and how great we are. I don't want to say it's because I don't take this wrong. I feel like it's because there's things that I have changed in my life that has helped us. Obviously, same for you. I know that. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully. But if I wouldn't have changed that, and that's development, like you got to take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and go, what are you doing wrong? And I don't know if normal people do that. And I don't want to be normal. I don't want to have a normal marriage. I don't want to have a normal workout body, mind. I don't want to be normal. And if I don't have to be, there are different aspects of my life that I can change that because I choose to change that. Nobody does that for me. I get to decide. And until people decide it, that's when things start to happen. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. I love your personality when it comes to it because it's like that's who you speak to, those people that are feeling the same way, and just need that extra pump, extra push. And those people, like the dues that I'm hearing you say, did it for you. I mean, I would love to know like who's been people that have just truly impacted you along the way. I know you've talked about do multiple times, and um anybody else that you can think of in terms of just who's made you Brent Widman.
A lot of people. This is going to be, gosh, I don't even know where to start on this. I'll just start with you because you're right in front of me. You, because you've made me a more loving, caring, person. You have. You've shown me that I can kiss and hold hands in front of my kids and not feel weird or do it in front of other people. I can also say, you look good. I appreciate you. Thank you for being you, type of thing, without feeling really weird, because that used to be really awkward to me. So awkward. Because do would tell me what to do and I would do it. And she taught me you can do and be anything that you want to be, which people say that, but she kept on it and showed me. And then the things started happening. So it reinforces it. Rory Vaden, that I held to a high standard. And I remember him walking like he was the guy. And I remember him just talking to me one time, walking into this painting thing we're doing. And he goes, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good." He goes, "No. How are you?" And for Rory to really care and know, it showed me that it doesn't matter who you are. You can be a really good person. My brother, by doing marathons and just his drive and who he is and the family and what he does to conduct himself, his mentality is, it's a lot like mine. And I just love having conversations with him. I loved running the half marathon and the marathon because he showed me that you can go from couch, deep in the couch, the half marathon or
So
marathon.
fun. Mm.
But that shows me that it just reinforced, stop giving me your stuff. You can do it if you want to. Gosh, I could keep going. Ron helped me become more patient. Carla shows that it doesn't matter where you're at in your world, you can persevere. All these people are friends of mine or people that I care about. Even my mom and dad, like my mom's a fantastic cook and her mentality is just, she's really efficient on
Very
things.
efficient.
Yeah, and I think that's where I picked that up at, and then my dad over here has got the nonchalant, whatever happens, happens, we'll be fine, and I think I picked that up too, because I don't stress about things, I just don't care, so it's this combination of lack of stress, but being really efficient on things that my parents taught me. Um, those are probably the biggest ones. Sports, not a lot, I mean, they did, but there wasn't any coaches that stood out. Um, yeah.
Mhm.
Those are probably the biggest ones, I would say, over time.
I love it.
Did I
I
miss
always
anybody?
say we can't do this life alone.
Gosh,
And
no.
that's one thing I've noticed about you, especially in the last, decade of just letting people in more and, you know, not not going through it alone. So,
That's kind of the ego thing too. I that goes back to Ron having a conversation with him one day, and I was going through stuff, and he said, "Call me," and I was like, I don't want to bother you. I don't want to burden you. And you don't hear Ron get upset very often, and he swore at me, not at me, but he's like, "Don't ever effing say that again, ever. I do not want to hear that come out of your mouth.
oh,
I don't care if it's, yeah, I don't care if it's 5 in the morning. I don't care if it's we talked about the 2 a.m. friend. You know who your friends are when they're 2 a.m. friends that you can call at 2 a.m. Those are the people. And that's what he told me. And it made it okay to let people in or tell people when you struggle with things. And I think a lot of us hold that back because we feel like we're burdening people. And we're not. Like, I just told somebody yesterday, you need to talk to somebody about that. Otherwise, you're going to hold it in here and you're going to struggle with it. And it's going to suck. But as soon as, like with you, as soon as I tell you something, I'm like, all right, I'm good. And that's what that moment made it okay for me. I never thought like that till he said that. It's just some random day 8 years ago, 9 years ago, whatever it was. So yeah, it's funny.
I love that. We
Yeah.
both got emotional there for a second.
Yeah.
It's fresh. So, what is one thing are that you would ask of someone listening to this, or that would help in this next year for you?
My biggest give back is to walk into a room full of 3 people or 3,000 people and have them walk out feeling something that the dude has been through. Like, if you look at what I've done and been through, there's probably not one person in that 3,000 audience that I haven't like had some of the same yuck that they've had. Let's call it what it is. So that, and then honestly, to reach out and book a conversation about coaching. I think real coaching, because I think it gets a bad rap at times, but real coaching from real people that have done it, that have been through it, and put the time and effort into it. We're not the people that lost our job and became a life coach. That's not what we do. Okay. We are in this. And if you want to change the direction of your business and your life, book a call. 1 hour is all I ask. And I will ask you enough questions and dig in with you enough that when you get off that call, you either say, I need this in my life, or you go, I need to change some things. One of the two. So, yeah, that's what I would say are my biggest asks.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Any last words? Anything that you'd like to speak into?
No, I just really, okay, no, but yes. That's a Minnesota thing, I think. I just really enjoy this. I really do. I wish I could take all the things that I know now and transfer them to people that are struggling with it or going through it, know that they're going through it, but either don't change it, don't know how to change it, or don't know how to ask for help to change it. And I wish that I could just let them know that if you just honestly invest in yourself, things are gonna be drastically different in your world and your kids' world and your family's world, because it has changed my whole world. So yeah, I wish I could leave them with that. Yeah.
I love it.
And so
I love it. Well, thank you, Brent,
yeah,
for being on today, and I look forward to see what we accomplish this
darn
next year.
right.
And I would not want to do life with anyone other than you. So I
Me
love you.
either. I love it. Thank you, honey.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Your Limitless Leadership Podcast with Jenny and Brent Widman. We hope today's conversation inspired you to think differently about leadership, not just in your career, but in every part of your life. Remember, leadership starts with leading yourself first. It's about taking action, making bold decisions, and showing up with purpose. Now, it's time to take what you've heard today and put it into practice. Whether it's in your business, your community, your family, or your own personal growth, start leading without limits. You have the power to become the leader you're meant to be. Until next time, keep pushing your boundaries and leading with purpose.